Hello developers, and welcome back to Elixir Pro. This is the third video of our test-driven development video series. We left the previous episode inside the describe block for creating a to-do app. Well then, let's continue after the intro. So developers, let's continue. One thing that I forgot from the previous video was one assertion here in the create to-do item describe block. If we check our project with the to-do app with the generators, we are not asserting this redirected to path here. So actually, let's do this here. The thing it will pass because we already do the correct code in the controller. So let's just assert that. So assert be redirected to beacon routes dot to do item path. This will go to our connection. I think this will go to the show, and we will be passing that ID there. Right? Let me check if this is what we are asserting here. Yeah, redirected to. Whoops, redirected to connection. It's passing the connection. It will be routes. That ID there, right? That was it. Yep. Whoops, here we are getting, where is the create? That's the update. Create. I think it's above. Actually, it was this thing here. Redirected to. Yep. So if we run this test here. Yep, all tests are passing. Well then, guys, we can to do app controller test item. We can now go to our next assertion, which will be when data is invalid. I guess that's where we left off. Yep, let's create then a test where we are, that's going to show render errors when data is invalid. So render error when data is invalid. Okay, we're going to be receiving our connection as default, right? So we're probably going to be passing this line here, but instead of passing like a valid to the item, let's pass an invalid one, and actually just put invalid here, and let's create another module variable, which will be invalid to do item attrs, and let's just pass new and new. New and new. Okay, so what this will do, if we go to our controller, we are not pattern match on anything here. Okay, so the first thing that we will be doing is like creating a case. We're gonna be creating a to-do app, the same thing that we were doing previously. And look at this, we already have that thing alias, so we can just like do this. If we receive the OK item, which is this thing here, whoops. We're gonna do the same thing as we did here, okay? But if we receive anything, it actually would be a change set error, if I'm not correct. So it would be like error. So let's put like ecto.changeset. Actually, this is, that's fine here. Or it could be just change set. Okay, let's just and this thing that we're going to be asserting, if we go to our project, we will be redirecting to the new path. Okay, so that's what we are expecting. Oh, but first we have to pass on that test, which is this one here. So actually, to pass in this test, the only thing that we need to assert is like return the connection. So let's run this test here. Yep, it passed. So now we have to assert that we are receiving an HTML response of status 200. Yeah, 200. So status 200. And inside that will be the new new to-do item. Oh, another thing that I forgot in the previous episode, this item here is not capitalized. So we're gonna need to change that in the template. So go to do new.html.ex. So let's capitalize this thing. Let's come back. Okay. This thing now is gonna fail, right? Because we are not redirecting to anything. Actually, we're not rendering anything. So yeah, we need to go back to our controller and we are gonna be rendering. Actually, we can like get the change set here. And render the new .html, and we are gonna be passing the change set. I think that's, well, actually we can check in our project. I always forget this thing. No, yeah, we can pair match that the change set is actually an active change set, but we are here, and yeah, that's exactly what we did, but this is on a single line. Okay, let's go back to our controller. Let's put this the same thing as we have in our sheet project, and we can also pattern match that this is a necto.change set. Okay, and if we go back now to our test, if we run this thing, we are receiving what? New to-do item. Oh, we found the dot, so we found this dot here. Let's run once again. Yep, everything is passing. So actually that's a good point for us to commit. So git add dash dash all, git commit, dash s commit, dash sm. Actually I don't know which line we are, so that's passing 26 now. Okay. And I think we're done for the creating to-do item describe block. We can continue now. Let's see what we can do now. The edit one. And look at this. We have this setup block, which is calling this function that is implemented down below, which is this one here. And this function is calling a fixture function, which is actually creating an item. Let's do this step by step. So actually, let's go back to our project. We're going to create another describe block. Okay, this will be edit to do item. Let's do that, or actually write the test. Let's write the test first. Test. Oh no, but because I need to pattern match on that thing. Where is the update? Edit actually. So edit, and we need to pass that to do item. Render form for the editing chosen to do item. Okay, so let's just click renders form for editing to do item. The only thing that we can pattern match right now is the connection. So actually, let's do that. Con, but we need to pattern match on a created to do item, right? So actually, let's define that function there, that p, which will be like, it's called create to do item. What is the thing called? Create to do item. Yeah, so create to do item. Here we're not gonna pass in, this is binarity function because that's what the setup block expects. Oops. We need now to return something of the sort, which is to do item, to do item, right? So what we can do here is like mention okay to do item, and we can do the thing that we did on create, but here it is not, we didn't alias that. Okay, let's do that after we refactor. So to do app dot to do dot create to do item, and we can actually get that valid params from our context module, right? So let's go there to do dot ex, and if we grab this thing here and go back, we're here. So let's put like, oh, we already had this thing here. I totally forgot about this. So whoops, and we just need this thing, which is a valid map. So now we have this thing. what we can do now is that hit refactor to do that fixture here, right? And this fixture is this thing out down below, which is basically doing the same thing as we did, but returning the to do item. Okay, let's do the same thing. So actually, let's define like a fixture, which will be to do item fixture. And right now we are not going to receive any arguments, and this is going to do what we did here. So here we can go back and paste, but instead we are going to just return the to do item. Okay, and actually here we can do like to do item receives to do item fixture. Oh yeah, but normally it's like pattern for you to put which thing that you are. But because it's here to do item fixture, did it call just fixture? Oh, it called just fixture. Let's do the same thing. To do item. So actually, let's remove this first part here, and here at the top, let's like do this. So that's a fixture for to do item, right? Yep, and now we can pass this in the setup block. So setup, we're gonna pass a list containing our function, which is create to do item. So now what this thing is doing is like merging the return map from this thing into our context. So now we can do something like this: to do item, to do item. Now we have that to do item here. And let's check which is the first thing that that test is doing. So added to do items. So we are doing the get request to the routes of to do item, going to the edit function. I don't know, I can recall if we already have this in our path, and we're passing that to do item. Okay, let's do the same thing. So connection, we're gonna be receiving a get request for passing our connection. Routes to do item path, we're gonna be passing the connection, we're gonna be hitting the edit function, and we're gonna be passing our to do item. Okay, so if we run this test, let's see, oops, some syntax error on to do item controller line 58. So go to 58 here and fixture to do item. There's something wrong. Oh, maybe it's this is a map. And yeah, this is a map. So that was the reason why. And now, yep. So if you run once again, yep. So the error that we got is that we have no edit in our to do item path. Okay, let's do that right now. So let's go to router and let's create new. I think we can do like this. So edit. Actually, let's put this down below. And this will go to the edit function. And to make our test pass, the first thing that we're gonna be doing is like going to our to do item controller. And we're gonna be doing this exactly same thing here. Passing edit. And for the meanwhile, we're just gonna return our connection, right? So if we run this test here right now, oh, I closed all my terminal. So to do item controller test, if we run this thing now, yep, all tests are passing. Okay, so the second thing that the controller with the generators are testing is that we're receiving an HTML response for editing to do item. So yeah, that's actually the default thing that we have been doing in the previous videos. We're gonna now need to render edit.html.ex, and inside that edit.html.ex, we're gonna need to put like edit to do item. So let's do that. So we're gonna be asserting that we are receiving an HTML response. Passing our connection with the 200 status, and inside our HTML it's going to contain the edit to do item. This is gonna fail. Let's just run the test to be sure that it is failing. Yep, we're not rendering anything, so let's go back to our controller And now we're going to be render connection, passing the edit.html, and we're not going to pass anything in params. Now we can go to the edit, actually to do template, and let's go here. We just need to, oops, wrong one. With like an edit.html.ex, and we need to pass here the edit to do item. Right, so if you go back to do item controller test and we run this thing here, it should pass, if I'm correct. Yep, it's passing. I believe that's everything for the edit describe block. Okay, that's everything. Since it's passing, let's commit once again. So git dash dash the add all actually. So and now let's git commit and let's change that the tests are passing 7. Okay, we are in a good state. So let's go to our next describe block, which is the update to do item. So let's go there, describe, update to do item. We have a setup block, which is passing the same thing from the edit, which is create to do item. Okay, we need a test. Inside this test, the name will be redirects when data is valid. So redirects when data is valid. Oops. We're gonna be pattern matching the same thing that we have below, above. Actually, it's with their connection and the to do item. To do item. Okay, and the first thing that we're gonna be doing is like you're doing a put request. Oh, actually, let's run all the tests here just to be sure that everything is passing. It's been a while that I don't run all the tests. So it's not passing, see? So it's going to show, and that's because router, maybe this, never know the right position of it. Let's just run once again to be sure that I got it right and I didn't save that thing, I guess. Oh, it worked, so all the tests are passing. And let me run once again because I'm not very convinced of that. Yep, all tests are passed. We have some warnings, but soon enough, we're gonna take care of those. Okay, so let's close this thing. And now we're gonna need to do a put request to the update function, passing the to do item and some params. Okay, let's do that. So connection is gonna receive a put request, passing our connection, routes to the to do item path. We're gonna be passing again our connection. This is gonna hit the update function. We're gonna be passing our to do item, and now we're gonna be passing a map that contains to do item with some updated params. Let's define that up here. So that's a valid and invalid, and let's create an updated to do items attrs, so some text body updated and test title updated as well. We can grab this thing and then we can like paste this thing here, and this should fail because we don't have a put request, right? So let's run this test. Yep, we don't have to do item path, the action for update in a put request. So let's go to our router, right? So let's do, and actually it's a put request for just ID. If I'm not, let's checking how it is done in our app with generator. So let's just mix phx.routes. And the put request is which is the put request or a post? Yeah, to do item / ID. It's this one here. So we can go back to our thing and just put like, let's put it here. Put to / to do items / ID. and this will go to the to-do item controller, going to the update function, right? So we can go now into our controller, which is to-do item controller. We just need to create another function called update. And in the meanwhile, just for our test to pass, we can just return the connection, right? So if we run this thing once again, yep, everything is passing. Actually, right now I want to show you guys how we can check what we are receiving in the params. So what I'm going to be doing now is we're seeing some params. So let's grab the params and let's just inspect what we have in here. So params, and let me call like this is the params. Okay. And if we run our tests once again, we check that we received this thing here, and we wanna pattern match on the to-do item, right? Or we wanna pattern match on everything. Let me check. So I think I can close this thing here. And let's go to our controller. What the code with generators is doing. Like, oh, it's getting our to-do item. That's the first thing that we'll be doing. And look at this. It's pattern match on all those params that we received. Let's just do that right now. So we are gonna grab this thing, go back to our controller, and we are gonna be overriding this thing. And actually this is a map. So here, and here, right? And this thing here will be our ID. And this thing here will be our to-do item params, right? I think we can do like this. That's pretty good. Okay. And which is the first test that the thing is doing? So it's going to be redirected to the show path. Okay, let's do. Actually, we have the same line like above, so we just need to. Where is that redirected? Which is this one here. We can just paste it here, but instead going to ID, we can go like to our to-do item. Right. Yep. And we can test this thing. It should fail because we're not redirecting anything. Yep. Expect redirect, but no response was sent. Okay. This one's a little bit more complex than the other ones because we first need to fetch our to-do item like this, to-do item. We're gonna need to go to our context to do something of the sort. So to-do item dot get to-do item. We're gonna be passing that ID there, but we don't have this function yet. So when this is this TDD approach, we need to go to our to-do.ex here, and we need to create a function for getting the to-do item, right? So let's create, actually let's do it above the list one. So test, so get to-do item with arity1 returns to-do item, right? And what we're gonna be needing is we actually want us to pair mention okay in a tuple or in the with the bang. I think in the generator they use a bang, right? No. Yeah, they use a bang. You know, the bang is like you return the item or it's been thrown an error. Okay, and if we check here, does it asserts that we receive anything? No. I don't like that. Actually, I would like to test that. But yeah, let's follow the script here, and later we check how we can improve this thing here. Okay, so let's go back here, and we are going to. First thing we need to do is we need to create a to-do item, and you see that in the context mode, you're using this to-do item fixture, which is defined up here. Let's do the same thing in our test so that we don't have like this duplication of code here. So let's create a def. I think it's called like to do item fixture now. Yeah, to do item fixture. We're going to be receiving some ATTRS or an empty map. And what we are going to be doing is like getting the valid. Actually, we need to create an item to do create to do item. We're going to be passing that valid ATTRS. But we need to override if you want to create like something for that fixture. So actually this will be at valid ATTRS. We're gonna be like into maybe I got the thing. Yeah. So this thing actually should be here at valid ATTRS, and this thing will be the ATTRS that we need to override. And then we're gonna be passing this thing to the create to do item. This is going to be received a to do item. Actually, this is gonna better match on that OK tuple that we defined, right? So actually, this will be like OK to do item, and we're just gonna return a to do item, right? So actually, this line here will be now to do item receive the to do item fixture passing nothing because we can skip that thing, and we can run this thing. Yep, it passed, so it's working. The next thing we can do is like the same thing here. Now we have to do item in the database, and we need to assert that if we do a to do dot get to do item with a bang, passing the to do item dot id, this should be equal to that to do item. I think that's the test, right? Let me just check here. Yep, that's exactly what we did. So this is gonna fail because we don't have that function yet, right? So let's go back to our context, and we need to define a function called get to do item with a bang, receiving an ID, and this is going to do what? To do item, we're going to be doing repo.get with a bang, an ID, and I guess that's everything, right? Yep, it is. So let me run all those tests in here. Yeah, everything's passing. Okay, creating to do item. I think there's some. I think we forgot some assertions here, right? Maybe we should like assert like this to do item. Yeah, there's some assertions. Yeah, we didn't assert that the body or the title. Okay, dot body is equals to this body here. So paste here, and we can do the same thing to the title. Title, which is this thing here. And now we need to do this. If you run all those tests in here, yes, everything is passing. Warning: use of equals operate on 32 has no effect. Oh yeah, we did assert this thing. So okay, and we're gonna do the same thing, and now we need to test. Everything is passing. Let me run all those tests if everything is passing, since it's been a while that we don't do that already. Oh yeah, but this is the test that we are under right now. Okay, so we asserted that this is being redirected, and now we have a create to do item, so we can go back to our to do item controller, and now we have this thing. Actually, this is with a bang. So now we have this to do item. Let's see what this is doing in the controller. Whoops, to do item controller. So now that we have that item, we are doing that update to do item, which is another function that we don't have right now. So let me case to do dot update to do item. we're going to be passing the to-do item and some to-do item params, which is this thing here. And since we don't have this function, but we're probably going to pattern match on like okay, updated to-do item, and we're going to be like, let's just return the connection from now. But actually this thing should redirect like something that we did here, right? So let's just put this thing here and this, and we want to test that it's going to show. Yep, it's going to show. So the only thing that is missing is we need to create this to-do item, update to-do item function. And let's go back to our to-do.ex, and let's go there and create a test for it. So test update to-do update to-do item with arity of 2, right? With valid data updates to-do item, right? Now that I've been thinking of what we did in that test up here. Oh yeah, no, we just created this thing. I thought that we did this, we used this module before. Okay. So we're here, and we need to update this thing. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a to-do item, right? Maybe we should build a setup block for that thing because we're doing like in 3 tests already. The X, the update, yeah, like here, and the one above and the other above. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is like the update to do item. So it's basically this thing here. But so this will be the updated to do item. This is going to do the update to do item. Let's pass some updated. So this thing with updated, and same thing with updated. Okay, we can go back. We can insert now that the updated to do item body is like this thing, but with updated at the end. And we can do the same thing here with updated to do item title is test title updated, right? This thing here is supposed to fail because we don't have right now an update to do item, so let's run that. Yep, we don't have an update to do item. Okay, that's fine. So we need to go here and let's put it, let's copy this one. But right now we're gonna be receiving an to do item here. We're gonna be, actually this is not a to do item, this is the to do item here. And now we're gonna be doing the change set. I think it's change, right? No, I think we're patching the pattern match is going to cast all the things, and now we need to like do the update. I think that's it. I think we can do something else here, like we can assert that this is actually a to do item, right? If you go back to our test and run this thing, one. Oops, yeah, we're not passing the to do item here, so my mistake. To do item. Right, so now we have the to do item and the it's called valid. Oops, this should be updated to do item term, so this should also be updated and TRS. Whoops. Yep, and now our test should be passing if I'm not mistaken. Update to define our private. We close this thing. What we have here, oops, we didn't change the name of the function. And now the way to go the last time is, yep, all tests are passing. Now we have it updated, so we can go back to our controller, which is to do item controller. And now, since we are getting the updated to-do item from this thing, we can redirect to the show route. I guess that's it, what we are testing here. Let me run this test here. Yep, it's passing, nice. So what's the next thing that the app with the generators is testing? We can go to do item controller test. And the next thing, oh, we are getting like the thing that was updated, and we are certain that we have some updated by there. We need to pass this thing in our template. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna be doing is like this. The connection's gonna get a get request, pass in our connection to routes. We are going to be using the to-do item path. This is going to hit the show function, passing the to-do item.id, if I'm not correct. Oh, I just need to pass that. Let's pass the to-do item. So this, because this thing and the update won't have the same ID, that won't be a problem. And now we need to assert that we are seeing an HTML response of passing our connection of status 200, and this have that thing here, which is this body, which is some text updated. Right, so let's go here and paste this thing. And now we can run this test. It should fail, right? Undefined function show on line 73. Oh, I forgot to put the 2 dots. Okay. Run it once again. Yeah, here is some. We received the show to do item, but there is no some text updated. This is because we never actually passed some attributes to our templates so it can be rendered. Okay, this is the first time we're going to be doing that. So let's go back to our controller and redirect it to, and we need to pass that thing in our connection if I'm not correct. So let's see what this thing is doing. Oh, it's not here because it's in the show, you know. We need to pass like this to do item here and to do item here. So let's go back to our show function, and now we need to pass it to do item, which is this to do item, and we need to fetch that to do item like this, okay? And we need to get it like the same thing that we are doing here. Actually, we're just gonna grab the ID. We can, let me, should I, I think you guys know what's happening. So to do item is gonna receive to do dot get to do item, passing that ID, and we're gonna be passing that, right? Let me check that show. We have a create. Nope. We can assert that. Let's go to that template, and now we have in the show.html, let's put it here like at to do item dot, we are testing what equals the body, so body, and we need just to show. Yep, this is like inside the, this is the syntax for interpolating Elixir code inside the template. So let's go back to our controller test. Oops, this one, and some updated text body. I think this should be passing. Yep. So it is passing, and I think we have another thing to test in this describe block. Nope, that's it for the, actually for the valid one. We need to go now for the invalid one. So the only thing that we're gonna be doing is like passing valid data, and this should go to that edit form. it's not just certain that we have errors. Okay, let's follow the script as always. So this is for redirection. It's valid. Actually, let's just create another one. Test. The name of our test will be renders error when data is invalid. Renders error when data is invalid. We're gonna be pattern match on the connection. We're gonna have a to-do item. The same thing we're gonna be doing here, but this time this will be that invalid, right? Invalid to-do item. And now we need to go back to our controller. Actually, this is going to return. This is gonna fail, right? Because we didn't even implement a fallback controller, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So the thing is saying that it was expecting, like, actually the thing that the function in our controller, which is this one here, return, it's like an error tuple with a change set. So we just need to pattern match on error and acto dot change set, receive change set, and if we return the connection, our test should be passing. So if you run once again, yep, this test is passing. But you see, we need to assert that we are actually rendering the edit form once again. Okay. So let's go back to our project, and we need to assert that we're receiving an HTML response of passing our connection of status 200. And this is the edit, which is this thing here. And now we need to go back to our controller, and we're gonna be rendering passing our connection, the edit.html.ex, and now we're gonna be receiving a change set, which is that change set. And I think that's it, right? Let's test. Yep, everything is passing. We have an unused variable called update to do item in to do item controller in 39. Oh, we can actually pass this thing here so that it stops complaining. Right, and we can run all those tests. All the tests are passing. We have no warnings. So let's run a mix test for running all our tests. Yep, so we can git at all and git commit with all tests passing. Actually, I guess this can be like passing 8 and the end of video 3. Hope that you have enjoyed. Stay tuned, and until next time. Bye.